That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to order. Following our recess, we're reconvening the August 24 meeting, but it is 9 o'clock on August the 5th. And we're back to our agenda, and I think we stopped at item 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. And so with that, which one do y'all want to talk about first?
Maybe you should call them all together. I
Well,
don't know.
before we do that,
call it.
I didn't bring in the agenda with me.
Yeah.
We needed the sheriff to explain some stuff.
I just wonder if it's not helpful to just call them all.
If you can recall 1.2.
Really? Okay.
I'm being requested to recall 1.2, which is a discussion regarding proposed department requested budgets and tax rate. Sheriff?
Yes. Okay, I think there was some confusion. That's what I'd like to try to clear up today on positions. I know it said I got all the positions. Actually, the media was right here asking me, you know, how many positions you get. It's kind of embarrassing. I really don't know. So where we're at is I originally put in for a jailer and a deputy, and I did get those positions. Since the storm, by the legislative committee, I was asked to identify areas we may be able to improve in, and that's what I've done. There are some areas of concern I have, so then I came up with this list that I presented a couple of times is what I feel I need. I'm willing to talk about these, and I'd like to talk about each one of them. I asked, due to security issues, you know, I don't want to go in a lot of detail. That's why we had an executive session here in the last 2 weeks. But these are not in the budget. What I've asked for was 2 deputies. One was approved. I'm asking for a second deputy, and I'll explain why.
I'm confused. I don't know what we're starting from. I don't have anything in front of me.
Yeah.
Twice now.
Stuff he brought, I don't have it in front of me either. Stuff he brought to us.
He gave us this, and I always was
I'm
concerned
trying to figure out what
that
it is.
these things were not included.
Okay.
Have some numbers, but a couple of requests came through and I don't know what we're talking about.
We never did get a,
We talked about it in the
Line
executive
item,
session, but
line
we
by
never
line
did come
breakup.
out and discuss it and vote on it.
okay, this is new.
And then one of these. And then one of these.
Okay, more.
You got more?
There's 3 pages total, it looks like.
Okay.
Let me get some more first. I'll be back.
But this is in addition to what we already approved,
Not all of it.
not all of it.
Yeah,
Well, we need to understand what's
that's
new.
what we're
Let's
here
let,
for.
let's let Tanya get caught up.
Let me get
I think this is what we approved already. The,
Which one?
the one that's got the starting February in the red columns. Judge.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what we've already approved.
I think so too.
I don't know. Just let them explain it and figure it out.
I think we only approved one of those.
That may
This
be
one
more
shows
than 3
three.
copies.
This is what we approved. There's only one corrections officer.
I haven't, but I think it's gonna
That's
be
what
more
we need to be clear
confusing, but
about.
I'll do it. That's why. But
I don't know. It's a mess.
Well, we just have to take it apart a piece at a time, and put it back together.
You bet. You bet.
We got all day. We got what it
Happy to
takes to
do
do, to get
Thank
it
you,
fixed,
sir.
Sheriff.
Yeah, I really want to try to get to the bottom and explain it. So, once again, I originally asked for prior to this incident, a jailer and a deputy. To get to we need 8 deputies out here per shift. We need 8. We still have 2 shifts at 6, 7. I have to get to 7. So I I asked for additional deputies till we get 7.
Okay.
You approved one, I'm asking for another one. In light of the storm, when I was asked to identify areas of concern that we need to probably improve on, that is I need to get to 8, but we got to get to 7 first, right? So another deputy will give me to 7, and then we'll work on that next year to get to 8. We need to have 4 more dispatchers. Right now, that's not reasonable. I need to ask for 2 dispatchers right now that will work nights. We need to have 3 dispatchers on all the time.
Okay. Do you have the same pieces, same schedules that we got? I think you do.
What she just handed out to us.
I'm looking at one at the top that has 2 dispatchers, a patrol deputy, and 2 CIDs. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone see this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Pencil a 1 on it, because we're gonna, that's our, that's the one we're talking about.
Now,
Okay.
you've already approved one. I asked under emergency situation. You've given me one of those CID deputies already.
Okay, so we've done one of the CIDs.
I'm looking for one for October,
Okay,
1 more deputy, 2 dispatchers.
okay. And these are new to what was in your original request.
Exactly, yes, sir.
So if we go back to what we approved, all of those plus these.
Correct, and there's some additional things.
Okay, now I'm looking at our auditor. In the second what we're calling second edition,
Yes, sir.
okay, which is the one that included what you asked for in open court. We included those requests that were in open court, not the stuff we talked about in executive session, right? You don't know what we talked about in executive session. But this is what we talked about in executive session.
Yes, sir.
So when we look at the second edition, and I'm just trying to get everybody on the same page here. The second edition of the budget includes everything that you asked for in that original budget workshop. Okay?
And the CID position that was approved this
The one.
last meeting of the council.
Sorry.
Correct.
There's a major traffic accident.
And ask the public just to bear with us. We're all sitting here with code red phones on. We're not turning them off. So the one CID that you just identified is included in the budget that we're presently looking at.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to be moving to a third edition here. And what you're asking in the third edition budget, well, I'm just using terminology. We're all on the same page, third edition. That will be something that we don't have in our hands yet. We will have to make. But the one CID is already in that budget. Is that right? Right, Ms. Shelton?
Yes.
Okay. And so this would be adding 2 dispatchers, a patrol deputy, and 1 CID.
Yes, and reclassifying my 4 deputies in the jail.
That's probably a different
Next
schedule.
page,
Is that another page?
Yeah.
That'll be the ones that says start February.
with the red?
No, I think maybe it's the other. Which one is it?
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, well, it could be.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's a special request at the top.
Okay,
Special
gotcha.
Well, they both
Well,
say-
they
Both
both
say
do, but,
special request.
One that doesn't have red.
okay.
No
Okay.
red.
No red.
No
Let-
red
let-
is
let's
page
mark
2.
that number 2.
Who's on first?
That's page 2.
And that is to reclassify 1 corrections officer to a corporal and another one to a deputy.
Yeah, there's.
Now, is that new, or did we already approve that?
No, this is new.
This is new.
Yeah. It's one and 3 deputy, 3, it's a total of 4, a corporal and 3 deputies. They're in the jail to regular deputy. I know we're talking.
And these reclassifications, Larry, would be in addition to the new hire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in the original one that was sent, they're on 2 different parts of the graph for the 4 positions.
Yeah, and they are all different because some start in February.
I'll let Jason
Excuse me,
charge that part
I'm
on
going
the-
to call for a 5-minute recess so that we can just talk here in the courtroom. And I need to go get the prior stuff that we looked at when we put together the initial budget.
Sounds good.
back to order. Anybody have anything to do before I bring us back to order?
I don't know where you want to fit him in, but Mr. Hall said he
I
wants.
see him there.
Okay, on two.
Ooh, we're on two
Okay.
right now. Another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna ask anybody to come up and speak from the public until we get this talked out. You need to hear it all. Then you wanna come up and talk to us about it, you can, okay? We're not ignoring it. Okay. I'm putting a paperclip on the stack that I called originals. And that was in the second edition of the budget, which is right here. Here's the second edition, and right behind it is the first edition. So again, keeping all of this separated. Here's the second edition, which is the live document we're working with right now. And everything that's in the originals is in the second edition. I'm gonna set the originals right here. The things that we need to talk about are the current discussion are the new ones that have not been included. And I've marked as page 1, the one that has the 2 dispatchers, the patrol deputy, and the 2 CIDs. And we are all of the same understanding that 1 CID has already been added. And Ms. Shelton? The 1 CID that's been added, that was included with the originals in the second edition budget. Good. So now we're just talking about the remainder of what's on this page 1. Page 2 has 2 corrections officers being reclassified to a deputy and 1 to a corporal. And what those are full deputies. The third page has 3 positions on it, which are either in the academy or about to start the academy. And they'll graduate from the academy and will become full deputies. But right now, for lack of a better term, we're calling them pre-deputy. They're working at jail. They have law enforcement responsibilities, but they haven't gotten the deputy designation yet. So that's what you're asking us to consider.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Okay. I'll give you some reasons why I'm asking for that. Of course, I want to make sure and be transparent to the court. With those full commission deputies and investigators, that will come with vehicles. They will need to be outfitted. I want to be transparent. I have all those numbers. I'm prepared to give them to Tanya or whoever at any time. So I'm going to give you some examples of why I'm asking this for you. Obviously, I've been charged with and having to answer to the committee, what recommendations can we do? I've told y'all for a while I'm trying to get to 8 deputies, 7 now, 2 shifts have 6. I'm going to give you a good example in just the last 4 days what happened, and we're going to start with last night. Should have 6 deputies on that schedule. 1 guy on vacation. It's obviously summer. You get PTO time. You should be able to take it with his family. Second deputy has, and this happens more and more all the time. Second deputy, son has surgery. Should be able to take off, right? Gives me 4 deputies, right? With the 4 deputies, we get 2 mental health transports, something I can't do. 253 today. Last year, full year, 253. One thing I can't do. It's just too much. Basically, a deputy's transporting all the time. That takes me to 3 deputies. That's unsafe. Unattended death. I'm at the office 7 o'clock preparing for today. I'm with the guy till after 10. I go to help that deputy. Happened to be a cousin of mine across the street from me that passed away. So I deal with that. So I got 2 deputies out for this whole county. That's not safe. We have to do a better job. We have to look into that. We'll go to Saturday. You know what I mean? When that rain come in, the 8 to 10 inches of rain we got. Thank God there's still over 90 DPS troopers here, but they're leaving. They're going to start cutting back next week. You know what I mean? I just had to be better prepared to handle these situations. What is the total number? I don't know. I know it's my job to come to this court to ask y'all. I need to get to 8 deputies, but we have to get to 7 first. That's kind of the big picture. I can give you stats all day long. We're just getting more and more calls. It's just going to continue to get busier. Obviously, in these storms, we're going to have to change our protocols. There's stuff in-house I'm working on, identifying, all these low water crossings, how we're going to approach it. Right now it's by experience. These guys have been here a long time, but, we're just going to have to brush up on that. Like the legislative committee's asked me to take a really hard look. what we can do. Dispatch, I mean, you know, I don't know if I'd have had 5 dispatchers that day, it would have happened. 911 calls came in, they rode over to Bandera, they rode over to Guadalupe County, you know, they were busy, they were just slammed, you know what I mean? But I think it's my job to get 3 in there at all times, and, you know, it won't hurt, it'll help. That's kind of the big picture, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from there. But-
Larry, going back, you know, a few years and what have you, you are doing a fantastic job, okay, with what you got. Okay, at first you were having a hard time hiring, and we bumped the salaries up and made it competitive around the hill country.
Correct.
And that helped a whole lot. What I'd like to see is, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. With these additions, should be carry you for several years without,
Absolutely not, I'll be coming with the same thing next year,
really?
yes.
We said he wanted to get to
You
8.
gotta get to 8 deputies.
Well, I
gotta-
understand that, but if we get to 8, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, well, you know, it changes.
Things
Yeah,
can
I hope so.
happen,
I
but-
hope if I have 8 deputies out there, we can handle it. I mean, yeah, you could use 10, but reasonably, I know there's only so much in the budget. But I want to remind you, we're the only office/department that works 24/7, 365, okay? It's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when this happened, you know, yeah, we're going to call people out, but it could take an hour or something. We
Yeah.
need all hands on deck as soon as possible. So that's something I want to be clear and transparent to the public. We're 24/7, 365. We don't, the lights don't come off in our business. Holidays, bad weather, flood, it doesn't.
Right. Okay.
You know, and I know that's tough, you know, we just get busier. I mean, as county grows, you know what I mean? And when people call us, you know, they want us there, like now.
course.
You know, when I have
course.
2 deputies for the whole county, that's not good, that's not safe.
Yeah, and you're having to cover Ingram right now, too.
Well, and, well, we can go there, thank you. You know, that's on my note here. You know, we're 4.5 years in. I mean, you know what, I wish I had the opportunity to not give a service. You know what I mean? I'm here fighting for it. You know, as of yesterday, my understanding is they're down to 2 officers again. You know what I mean? I mean, and it's clear, all through the past 7 chiefs, they've told me that they don't intend on ever going to 24-hour service. That's wrong, okay? But who has to pick it up? I do.
Are you required to use a commissioned officer for MHDD transport?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, for safety reasons, yeah. I mean, we have sent, if we don't, we'll send a jailer with a commission guy just for safety reasons, but we do, you know, and you gotta understand, it takes 1 PD officer, we kind of work together for safety reasons. Usually 1 PD officer will go and 1 deputy will go. Last night, when you have 2, they're going to the same place, well, it makes sense. We took 2 vehicles, city took 1 county, and we followed each other. You know, San Antonio is not worried. You start going a little past that, you talk about restroom break stops or something, that's a big safety reason. But we always send, yeah, a commissioned
It
officer.
has to be commissioned?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, and those, like I said, I'm at 253 today. That's where I was last year. I got 7 weeks to go. I mean, it just keeps going. You talk about Ingram, you talk about the normal calls, you talk about moving forward, new procedures. I'm just laying it out to you.
So Sheriff, what's the added cost? You mentioned we have to have fully equipped vehicles for increased staff. Do you have that added cost?
Yeah, for the 3, that's $174,000, but obviously they're payments, you know, it's paid out. But that's the total cost that we wrote a check
Is
for.
that based on lease or?
Yeah, lease. You know, let's talk about that. You know what I mean? It's $103,000. When I first got in office, it was $54,000 for a unit. It is doubled. It's crazy. It's, yeah, upsets me a lot, you know, some of the prices we have to pay to do this business.
So to try to quantify the ask, we'll do them one at a time.
Okay.
Let's go back to the one with the dispatchers on it. My page number 1. If I'm reading this exhibit correctly, the annual cost of the 2 new dispatchers, the patrol deputy and the 2 CID, well, we're gonna have to probably deduct out that CID officer because we've already put that in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So the annual on the CID officer is $78,669, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I see you've got it broken out bi-weekly too,
Yep.
but we just we're talking about aggregate numbers here.
Yeah, total.
And so when I look at that 337,654, we would have to subtract 78,699 because it's already in the budget,
Right,
right?
Yes.
That's the added ask?
yes.
That makes it two
Ms.
fifty-eight,
Shelton?
955.
Say that again.
258, 955 is the number.
258, 955. And then because we're adding three vehicles or two vehicles, what are we adding?
Three,
Three? That's 174,000?
174,780.
So we've got, I'm just approximating,
Right.
259 for personnel and 175 for outfit, right?
Yes, sir.
433.
Okay.
Excuse me, but don't we had already approved one new patrol deputy too.
Sheriff,
Yes.
Mr. Jones is asking a question.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
Hadn't we already approved one new patrol deputy?
Yes, sir.
And this is somebody different.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay,
This is in
If I
addition.
get both these, that'll put me to 7 per shift.
okay.
Okay. So, let's go to page number 2. This is the one where we have the corrections officers, one being reclassified to a corporal and one being reclassified to a deputy. And these are full deputies, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looks like the promotion that they get is gonna cost the county $17,580. Then we do with roll-ups, it goes to $21,427. Is that right?
Let me look at that number. I'll let Jason speak on that. He's on top of
Well, Sylvia gave me a different sheet this morning. I'm trying to add that up. So the reclassification of the peace officer certified corrections officer patrol deputy, you're looking at an annual increase of $31,711 on top of what they're already.
31,000, what was it?
$31,711.
That's different from this.
That's different from this. So,
No, wait. That's the other special request.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's the
that-
number
that is-
from
that
page number
is-
3.
there's- When you're looking at that sheet, that was a little bit confusing. It was broken down to 2 different blocks. All that should have been all under one block, so you gotta kind of put the 2 together.
Oh.
That was what the
Well,
little confusion
then,
was.
then let's start over on this one, because we have to get it clear. And I apologize that the clock
No,
is ticking,
I
but we've got to get it
apologize
right.
too.
So, I'm looking at one I call page number 2,
Yeah.
and it has the,
The 2, yes, $17,580.
Right.
Then once you add your roll-ups, it is $21,427.
But you're saying those are included on page number 3?
no.
On some of the examples, they are page 3. We're looking at 2 different ones that have the same dollar amount. Possibly.
Well, if we look at page number 2, the
Okay.
figure at the bottom that's highlighted in blue is
Let's,
21.
Let's, for clarification, so the one that you're looking at has 2 positions on it, the
Right.
first one,
Yeah.
correct?
That's our
So
page
that
number
is
2.
a correction officer sergeant being reclassified to a patrol corporal.
Okay.
And then you have a corrections peace officer being reclassified to a deputy.
Right?
And it shows the annual increase with roll-ups at $21,427.
And is that a number we can take to the bank?
Yes, that's the one Sylvia did for us.
Okay.
Then you have a second block of correction officers.
Another page.
Yes, sir.
We're calling that page 3,
Yes, sir.
and it's got 3 positions on it.
Yes, sir.
And one is a corrections officer reclassified to a patrol deputy.
Yes.
And that's
These
what-
3 are currently the ones you talked about that are in the academy.
Yes. But he
So-
graduates from the academy in October, so.
One's
we-
in October, the other 2 are in February.
Right.
So-
And so you've gone through and allocated for the appropriate time period that they're going to be working for you.
Yes.
And the 3 of those, as they come back, and when they come back, Is that number at the bottom that's highlighted in blue a correct number?
It'll be a correct number,
That's 31,139.
yes. So there's a
So,
little bit of confusion with this. There is actually 4 positions, but you're looking at 5 people. Some of those, there may be some overlap. So one of these positions, most likely sometime after October, will fill one of the empty deputy positions. But we still got to account for that reclassification for the time that he's there. So in the simplest term, we are reclassifying 1 supervisor and 3 positions. But for Tanya's sake, we have to show these numbers in the October starting budget. So
okay, listen to my
before
comments.
it's, these numbers could actually decrease some after October.
Well,
There's a little bit of confusion there, but
we're
this
very
is probably
limited
the
what-
high number, we'll just say that.
Let's go
Okay.
with the numbers.
So, I'm looking at my auditor. We're adding about $434,000 over here on page 1 with the vehicles, 2 dispatchers, patrol deputy, and 1 new CID officer. And then we go to page number 2. We're reclassifying 2 corrections officers, and that's the impact of all of that is gonna be $21,427. So we'll go,
Plus 31,139.
and that's on page 3.
Yes.
So it's these 3 pages that KCSO is asking be included in the next edition of the budget, in addition to what we've already done. And so this is about another $500,000.
Just under, yep.
So just to be clear on what I'm looking at, there's additional costs that I don't think we talked about, cost of outfit and new patrol deputy.
Yes.
And that looks like
Yeah,
it's
we
about
did.
22,000 each, is that right?
Yes.
Say that again?
And that's for 5 people?
No. Your reclassifications, don't worry about that, as far as outfitting. It's just your new positions, your CID, your 2 CID investigators and your 2 deputies.
So the deputies that were already in the budget, the CID that's already in the budget, and the CID is already being hired now, we are gonna have to outfit them
Yes.
next time, not now, not in the current budget.
Not in the current budget.
So we have to add outfitting 1
The
additional
only thing
officer.
should be covering in the current budget for that CID that y'all approved for immediate hire would be the additional salary cost.
Well, just a second, hold it right there. I need to get my auditor's attention when she has a moment.
I'm here to.
I know. The simple question is, with regard to the cost to outfit the CID officer that we included in the budget, did we include the outfitting cost?
No.
So that has to
They
be
may
added.
have it somewhere that they can find it in the budget for the current year is what my hope was.
We'll,
But we'll
we'll,
add it to
we'll,
next
we'll
year.
take care of that this year, on that, the one y'all hired, don't worry about that.
In your existing budget.
Yes, we'll figure
Okay.
it out.
So, with regard to our second edition, the only thing that we're discussing right now is adding another approximate $500,000, whatever the actual number comes out, for these 3 pages, which I call the to be added to the second edition. And I'm looking at Sylvia, and I'm looking at Tanya, to make sure that we're all on the same page as to what we're going to try to put in this next edition of the budget.
Yes, I get about $631-ish thousand dollars,
Okay?
and that's real rough with me just throwing.
Okay. 6:30, you think it's gonna be?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is about 1 cent on the tax rate.
Okay, we're still on item 1.2 of the agenda. Is that conclude your request.
Yeah, no, Judge, there's one more thing I wanted to talk to you, it was not related to that. I put in the original budget a deductible contingency plan. I don't believe that was put in there of $15,000. What I'd like to, obviously, we're not probably gonna be moving this year. What I'm asking Tanya is that we had $25,000 set aside for furniture, that I used $15,000 and put in this contingency line item, and let me explain why. I don't think it's fair to my budget to have to just find money all the time for vehicles. I'm gonna give you an example. In the last 3 years, we've had, I've had to come up with $39,000. It's not just easy to come up, it depends what part of your budget, my $1,000 deductibles. 2023, I had 15 vehicles damaged, that each one of those was $1,000. 2024, I got lucky and had one. 2025, I had 10 damaged, 14 totaled, okay? I've lost one in this flood. I've got right now in the back, I have 3 Tahoes with transmissions out. We're gonna fix one and not the other 2. I've got another one with the rear end out. Those are my spares that aren't usable, but that equals $39,000. It's just not that easy, go to the budget and find it. I need a contingency plan, and I'm just starting with $15,000. I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, gas, if anybody can tell me what gas is next year, that would help, but that's why I asked for the contingency plan of $15,000
Okay. When did you ask for that?
in my original budget.
Is it in the original budget?
It
First-
was-
first
yeah,
edition?
He added it on the, I would have to go back and look, because my understanding was he added it in his ask at the department, but it wasn't in his budget at that time. And
Correct.
it was never added back in, but I think I went back later and looked, and it was part of something. It was talked about on it, so I can't answer that question at this point. There's the money for the, furniture move was $20,000, not
Okay.
$25,000. And that is had been taken out of the budget with the, Judge Kelly's. And he did not put in the $15,000 because we have a contingency fund that's at the county level that we have moved the money over to cover that if he needed it and couldn't find it anywhere else.
Well, and that's what I don't think's right, just go find it. It's not that easy, depends what time of the year, go find it. Where we draw the line, I'll go find it.
We're at a pretty critical point, Sheriff. How big is our contingency fund right now?
We added.
For the new budget?
For the new budget, I need to look, I wanna say it's 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Because the unknowns that we're still are thinking may not be paid in the current year or next year in the aftermath of the day.
And so that the public understands what we're talking about. And you may recall, I call it budget culture. Because we're conservative, all of our department heads and officers kind of plan for having to find money like the sheriff's talking about. Go back to their budget and see where they've got money to be able to cover these unforeseen expenses that arise. As a county, we have a formal contingency fund, and through the years, we've made it bigger over time because we found that we do have unexpected expenses that come up. And we're trying to get it big enough to discourage the department heads and the elected officials to not have their own kind of silent contingency in their budget. And they're there. And it drove me crazy the first year I did budget because I couldn't find them. And would have a deficit. And then at the end of the fiscal year, when the money that's not spent comes back, it turns out that we have $1 million, sometimes a couple of $1 million that go unspent. And it's hard to budget like that, but the thing about it is, my department heads and the elected officials do such a great job. Just like we're talking about here, I know it's difficult, Sheriff, but you've been successful doing it, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I don't think we ought to get too distracted in what we're trying to do here. We're working against a Friday deadline, and if we do not get the budget on file by Friday, we revert back to last year's budget, and that will probably put the county out of business. So, where are we on this contingency? Is that something that we can resolve between now and Friday when we finalize the budget?
Y'all need to decide what you're going to put, what you're gonna offer.
And how much are you asking for in addition?
15,000.
So we've got the 630 and the 15. Is that right?
Ballpark.
Okay. Any other proposed department budget request that we need to consider before we move on? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Do we need to go back and, on some of them, we need to discuss, or you want to wait?
This is the item on the agenda where we deal with the proposed department and office budgets.
Okay, because on proposed departments,
I'm going back on the second edition. Okay?
and I'm not sure where you got it lined item on there, but we're looking at the animal control, and there was a correction that you were making on that. You had originally proposed, I think it was a mistake, an oversight, where they went from the current grade of 21
Okay,
to 22.5.
so that everybody can figure out where we are. This is what we determined to be the original request. And it's the special request. The HR number at the bottom is 7.14.25. And it has one of 3 pages. Those are the special requests, and that's where the animal control solid waste is. And that's what you're looking at. Is that
That's
right,
what I'm
Commissioner?
looking at here, right.
You see what I'm talking about right here? This is
Gotta
the
get
page.
the right one of those.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I need to know which one you finally put into this second request, or proposal. for
This
animal
is the
control.
one where Animal Control was asking that their law enforcement deputies be raised to a 21.5, step 12. And I had recommended it when we had the workshop, and it was put to a vote. It was not, the order that was entered left it at a step 6. And so that's what's in the first and second edition of the budget, is a step 6. It has not been changed to step 12. Does that answer your question?
It does.
They're not very happy with me about it, but that's where it is.
No, that's fine, that's where I was wanting to find out where we were at on that.
That's where we are.
Okay.
Anything else with departments or offices?
Well, I would still like an explanation for the new position of elections administrator. Why do we need that?
Because we're understaffed in the elections.
Well, we hired a number of people after it shifted from tax over to county clerk. It's hard for me to understand why we need that. And why is it an election administrator as opposed to just hiring another clerk?
Well, because we're trying to get to an election administrator. Now, I understand you may oppose it,
Yes, I do.
but that's the goal.
Well, is that what the rest of the court wants?
I'm trying to, yeah, because this is all, that's the first I heard of it whenever all this was being put in the budget. And so I do have some questions. It's a full-time position that we're creating. Will there be other duties? I think that's kind of, I think, what it sounds like you're probably asking,
Yeah.
rather than just somebody that is assigned that duty. What are we looking to do?
We're looking to have an independent elections administration. That's what we're talking about doing. That action has not been taken by the county at this point.
Right, but that would be a full-time employee?
Yes, they would run an office. Ms. Zapata?
Commissioner Jones, to answer your question, an elections administrator would also take over voter registration. And so that number was provided at a request. Judge asked if we could put that number. That's why it's on that spreadsheet. And so they would be their own department. Elections administrator would oversee that department, and they would have clerks underneath them.
Is this the best year to be doing that?
How would it even work?
Well, I'm more
It's what
concerned.
nearly every other
And
county,
elections?
that's what most counties have.
There's a lot that don't, and we haven't. So
I'm just
why the
more
need?
concerned about the fact that we're trying to get through a pretty rough budget here, and the sheriff just dumped a bunch on us.
Right.
Is this the best time to do that, or would we be better served
And we've been digging everywhere to try to put off things, like some of our road and bridge projects to get the numbers down, you know, and I agree with you that I don't know this is the best year to add to that
You've got
position.
one person that wants to speak on this.
Okay, Ms. Gaines?
Thank you, Nikki Keynes. I have been asking since this was passed over, when the first sheet was put out for new positions, again, why we need it. From my understanding, the numbers here are transfer from the tax office. Does that mean now that Mr. Reeves' office is no longer handling voter registration? So that's put onto an elections administrator, so now their duties are less. And then when you ask about an elections administrator, the biggest election we've had here in a long time, which was this last presidential, we had mandates coming down from Jane Nelson, Secretary of State. And for the first few days of early voting, it took elections workers and common citizens to bring it to the attention of the elections administration that was working it, that those mandates had been updated. So for the first few days, we had people who were questioning about people voting with temporary IDs, like their driver's licenses. And that was not instituted for the first few days because the elections administration here claimed they were not aware of it. So if we're going to hire somebody, I'd like to know who they're accountable to. Is it an appointed position, an elected position? And what is the hierarchy for, like what happened? How does a common citizen go, hey, that was never handled?
It would be another department that reports to the court, just like all our department heads do.
No, it's an appointed position.
Appointed- Oh, that's right.
Yes, yes.
So an
Okay.
elections administrator would be
Yeah, I
their
know.
own department, and they would report to a board, which would consist of the tax assessor collector, the county clerk, the county judge, the Republican chairman, and the Democratic chairman. They are not elected, they would be appointed.
Correct.
And
Yeah. And-
So do they end up
And
with
I would say,
staff?
Nikki, you probably made a good case for having one
yeah,
if we were
absolutely.
having a struggle. And,
Well,
and that's why I'm saying, but my whole point isn't whether we do or don't need one right now. It's, can we afford one right now? Is more my point. Because right now, I'm thinking we're just, Sheriff, you just dumped a bunch on us right now. And we're trying to figure out how to get through a pretty big crisis
We're
right
in
now.
off years, right.
And for me, adding another employee, even though it might be needed, very well needed, I'm not sure it's wise right now.
And if I understand it from that original sheet, that would be at a total cost of $116,399 to create that new position. So the people that have been doing it, are they being used in-house and being moved over? And where does that, where do those monies come from?
So the current elections employee, current employees in the election department would be part of the new departments. One would have to be an elections administrator because you have to have a department head. And then Bob would give up one of the voter registration. Am I correct there? Oh, okay. Maybe he's giving us two.
But it doesn't make sense, because right now you've got people in tax assessor collector that they do voter registration in addition to a lot of other duties. No, so they're specifically only doing voter registration.
They're so short-handed, they do other duties. They're dedicated voter registration.
How many do you have that are dedicated?
Voter registration clerks. Let me get up to the official.
Thank you.
First of all, I think Nadine, and she's back there and can't speak, I think we're getting thrown under the bus for the simple reason, Ms. Zapata, Judge Kelly came to us, what would it take to create one? We didn't go to them to say we wanted to create one. I want that clear. I'm damn tired of this. Now, I have two voter registration clerks They're just like every other employee in my office. They're cross-trained. But don't go telling me how I've got my staff set up, Commissioner. If you want to know, walk in there and look, but don't throw us under the bus.
I'm not throwing you under the bus, Bob. I just thought it was working pretty damn well the way it is.
So to me, that leaves a lot of questions in mind. If you're gonna, are you gonna lose those two people to move over to this? Or are we now gonna have to create two more people to be part of the elections administrator?
My voter registration staff, I've asked one to protect their jobs. That's all I'm concerned about. I don't want to hire somebody from outside if my staff could move over there, but I don't want to lay them off either.
But you said those two people did voter registration plus other duties, so
Just
I'm,
like everybody,
Right.
including sweeping the floors.
so I'm saying, are those two people that are doing voter registration, are they gonna be moved over underneath this other position?
That is the plan if the administrator wanted to hire them.
That looks like a lot more positions than an election administrator, that's a lot of money.
Bob, if we were to pass on this till next year, would you be able to manage till then?
I'll do whatever my job entails,
I
Commissioner.
know you will, and you
So,
always do.
if you want to pass and do it, I frankly do not think we could get it done by November or by March,
Right.
considering the events of 30 days ago.
Right.
I say pass.
Yeah,
That's my vote.
I'm sure, I still haven't got my head straight what we're gonna have total for hires. Is where I'm still a little confused here.
For
I don't
hires?
wanna- I don't, well, yeah, because you're talking about this administrator, but it sounds like it's gonna create a vacancy possibly in your department as well. Is that correct?
I can only speak to mine, my department. I have 2 voter registration clerks. The staff would have to, if they were going to remain voter registration clerks, they would have to move over to this new
And that
department.
would create a void in your department.
It would create a void, I think's better than vacancy. Does that mean I'd go back and hire 2 more property/motor clerks? No.
I was in Bob's office a couple of days ago, and we were talking about some different things, and he pointed out how everybody was cross-changed, just because they're short-handed sometimes.
Yeah.
And it just works that way. It's, they're not hired to do multiple, but they end up doing it, and he's gotta make it work, and it does work.
Agreed. That's been great.
Okay. Let me clarify something. Item 1.2, as a budget item, is a discussion issue only. It does not call for any action.
Right.
I'm hearing that y'all want to take some action. That would have to be done when we get ready to do the budget. It's not we couldn't do it in 1.2 because it's not an action item. We can't do it in 1.3 because that's wage adjustment.
That's fine.
Yeah, we can't do it in 1.4, I don't think, because that has to do with the salary increases for elected and county and precinct officials. And 1.5 has to do with base salaries for elected officials that has to be published in the paper.
You can give the auditor an instruction about what to include and not to include in your proposed budget. And if you're hearing that your commissioners don't want to include this position or office in your proposed budget, you can make that instruction to the auditor to take it out if you choose to.
It's up to you what you put in the proposed budget. You heard our position.
And it won't require action today.
That's right.
That action will be later when the
Sure.
court considers the budget.
Agreed.
Good. Thanks for that clarification.
Any more explanation about that?
May I speak?
Did you fill out a form? Just grab a form. I thought everybody understood this.
She said please, she said please.
I know.
think.
No, we're waiting.
She wasn't planning to speak, but obviously she wants to talk on this subject.
Yeah, I know.
I think Mr. Hall wanted to speak on 1.2.
Yeah, I think he changed it, yeah. Ms. Hurd.
Thank you, Judge and Counsel. I just want to point out
Excuse me,
that
we're not
according,
counsel.
sorry, Commissioners.
You need to identify yourself.
Thank you. My name is Helen Hurd. I am a resident of Kerr County. I'm also the county chair for the Republican Party in Kerr County. The state election code mandates that the county clerk is responsible for elections in all Texas County. The position of an election administrator is over and above election law. And I would point out to the court that that position of county clerk is up for election next March. We do not know who the county clerk is going to be, and that person may be eminently qualified to run our elections. So I would think that appointing an administrator at this point is premature, and go along with the commissioners who have said that this is probably not the appropriate time to create that new department. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hall, I see that you have amended your request. You want to talk about item 1.2?
Yeah, my comments apply basically to all the agenda items that were up for today, so I figured I'd jump in now. Roger Hall, Independence Lane, co-founder of Liberty in Action and a board member. My wife Terry could not be here this morning because of a prior commitment leading our scout troop planning meeting. I know that may come as a shock that we have many other important things to do with our valuable time than come to these proceedings watchdogging our government. That includes myself taking time away from my business and clients to be here today. Yesterday, Commissioner Harris brought up our personal taxes and then proceeded to twist what my wife said on the radio, calling her a liar, and that she does that frequently. This behavior violates the court's code of conduct, Rule 4E, that states no demeaning of individuals or groups. Yet that's precisely what Commissioner Harris did when he broke the rules of decorum and stooped to a personal attack. The fact is, I told her our annual bill would go up as much as $1,200 if the commissioners jacked up the rate 8%. You're conflating two different conversations. Now, I may not calculate everything right, decoding the complex nuances that go into how to calculate or even understand our appraised values, much less how that combines with the tax rate to end up with our property tax bill. But the records you looked up leave out the important detail of how much taxes would have gone up if we did not challenge the higher appraised values every year. The appraisal board has tried to bump it up $100,000 just since 2022. Commissioner Harris, while you were taking the time looking up our appraised values, you left off 2025. It's going up another $43,000, nearly doubling in less than 10 years. That's unsustainable and would tax someone out of their home if they didn't take time off work and spend their valuable time protesting their appraisals every year. We're here to fight for our community, people we didn't even know just a few years ago, in the common cause of liberty, freedom, shrinking government. Why? Because government grows, liberty recedes, and defend and protect our Christian heritage and conservative values. Not every fight involves us personally, like you're trying to frame this. We do it out of love for our neighbors, this community, recovering flood victims, and the great state of Texas and our country. But rest assured, out of control property taxes profoundly affect everyone under 65. The public outrage is from your voting to even consider an 8% hike at a time like this. That should have never been on the table. Just because we see your actions differently does not make it a lie. Even after saying you won't raise taxes that high, the current budget on the table still includes a 2.5% pay increase, bringing county pay raises to more than 16% in just 3 years. That would still increase our property taxes in the middle of a disaster. The only way to keep taxes the same, despite using the no new revenue rate phrase, is to lower the tax rate from last year's rate to offset the higher appraisals. You have to do this every year in order just to keep taxes the same. That doesn't even begin to actually lower the current tax burden. Another issue I hear in these discussions is that wages need to keep up with the cost of living or inflation. Newsflash, nobody's wages keep up with any inflation, especially Biden-inflation. It's a bad thing. So how about we stop personal attacks and focus on what's best for our citizens at this time of crisis and reduce the tax burden, not add to it. And I want to add, from what I've heard this morning, Sheriff's Department needs what they're requesting. Take all the other extra money you're proposing, give it to that need. That is the need for safety in our county. Thank you.
Any other discussion about proposed department requested budgets?
No.
So let's move on to item 1.3. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve fiscal year 25-26 Kerr County wage adjustment. Ms. Zapata.
As requested yesterday, y'all asked for some more figures, so that was emailed to y'all. I have a copy if you need one.
I need one.
You need one?
We have a little email issue going right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
No. That's fine. You got it?
Somewhere.
Okay. I took one. There, you have that.
We can share it.
He's got one now. Anyway, now everybody's got it.
Any questions, discussion?
Right now, you have a 2.5 figured in.
Bob, were you gonna be figuring in something yesterday you were asked?
Yes, I have the information, Commissioner Pace says.
Okay.
I mean, it probably is worth looking at that before we make any decisions.
Right.
Before we get to you, Bob, why don't I ask you to come to the podium and address Mr. Pace's concerns. Commissioner Pace's.
Commissioner, if I understood correctly, you were wanting to know what the tax rate would need to be if the average homeowner paid the same amount of money in the 25 tax year as the 24, is that correct?
That is correct.
Then that tax rate would be .3831.
What should we be calling that rate?
I don't know.
'Cause I
I've
mean-
never had that question asked.
There's confusion over the no new revenue rate.
The no
which-
new revenue rate is a term in the code.
Yeah, okay. Anyway. Maybe it's the no new tax rate, you're right.
It's the MAGA rate.
That'd be a break the county rate.
It might be.
They changed that term about the time we got up here, I think.
Yes, sir. 2019,
Yeah.
before that is the effective tax rate.
Right.
And of course, that would change even after this morning. Right?
No, sir, my rates won't change.
No.
That won't?
No, sir.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He's only looking at the revenue side.
yeah.
My rates won't change. This would amount to about $1.2 million lower levy
That's what we needed.
countywide.
Approximately $1.2 million.
$1.2 million lower revenue, if you will.
Okay, that's what we needed. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Lenz.
I know y'all cringe when you see me get up here, so I'm just gonna play the same broken record. All the employees in this county, 90% of them are taxpayers. Their taxes are not frozen. They pay taxes here. They work here. They keep this building, outside of the building, at the sheriff's office, the courthouse, annexes, they keep it going. They're here day in and day out. Like Bob said, they sweep the floors. They do everything they need to do, not only their job. So, again, I know it's hard for y'all to give our employees pay raises, and my heart goes out to everybody in this community. Again, our groceries go up, everything for us goes up too, and I will gladly pay those higher taxes. My taxes aren't frozen yet. I don't draw two salaries. I work here day in and day out. I do above and beyond what my job is, just like the sheriff, just like his employees. And our people step up just like everybody else. So it's hard, and I get it. And they're hard decisions, but on the backside, I've been here 18 years, and I've seen this budget every year, and it's the same complaint. Same complaint. Not giving employee raises. And when you do, it's very low.
That's
Sheriff,
wrong.
yes,
That's
yes,
wrong.
sir. Yes,
Look what
sir.
we've done the last 3 years.
Never seen a 6% raise for all these employees here,
No.
Commissioner
Five
Harris.
was pretty good. 5 was pretty good. 4 was pretty good.
And I understand law enforcement. They need it. They work very hard. I worked in law enforcement myself. But you know what? There's a lot of other people in this building that work hard, Commissioner.
Oh, I agree.
But
I don't
I
think-
think sometimes y'all forget. Do you ever go to, I haven't seen any of y'all come to our office to thank anybody. Oh, I apologize. I'm the district clerk. Yes. I mean, I've been here for 18 years, and I was HR director. I am not running again. And I've seen how a lot of things have declined here. And our employees are not happy. It's hard to get employees to work here. They work 2 jobs in my office to make ends meet. And I think some of you commissioners work 2 jobs. I'm just trying to bring some of the facts forward. You know, I mean,
I appreciate your point of view, but let me tell you, I talked to some county employees yesterday, and they said that if it came to a pay increase versus paying higher taxes, they didn't want the pay increase.
well, I haven't seen you in my office.
I have no reason to be up in your office.
Those employees
I'm
are
not
county
going from office
employees.
to office to office asking people their opinions.
Really? Thank
No,
you,
ma'am, I'm
Commissioner.
not.
Mr. Hall left, didn't he? Okay. The issue before us is an action item with regard to the wage adjustment. Is there any motion?
Can we table table this for now. I want to hear some of the other good news about how maybe we've saved some money from what is in the current proposed budget
They,
with respect to road and bridge and some other things like that.
They need to be able to post the elected salaries.
You
This-
gotta make a decision today.
Yeah.
Well, when I say pass,
I
I want to hear the other information. You know, we can come back to this today.
Well, then let's go back, let's go back to item 1.2. We can talk about all the departments, and you want to talk about road and bridge, you want to talk about the other departments, that's the time to talk about it.
Okay.
So we're back to 1.2. What is it you want to talk about?
Well, whatever they found out yesterday, you know, we left the meeting because they were going to have some meetings and
Our
and look at
2:30
the cost
meeting.
of
Oh,
Do you wanna fill them in on that?
the bridge.
The 2:30 meeting and where we're at, or maybe Tanya, about how she may be changing,
it impacts it, doesn't it?
it does.
It does.
That's what I've been waiting to hear.
Why don't you and I have a discussion? I think we can talk this thing through. Want to make sure we get it right.
Okay.
The meeting we had yesterday at 2 or 2:30, whatever time we started it, that went for probably at least an hour and a half, was with FEMA. And representatives from Tatum, and I think we had some other representatives in there too. I don't remember exactly who they were, or what they were, what agency they were with.
FEMA,
But-
Tatum,
Mhm.
and then county employees.
The format for the program, the meeting that we had to do with the different categories and how FEMA treats them and how we go about reporting these damages. And one of the things that we did talk about, I think that we're going to, is road and bridge. And we talked about specifically the Cade Loop Bridge and the damaged roads and other damaged bridges here in the county. And we had put in the first edition budget and the second edition budget. Let me find where the,
10,056,000.
It's actually just 10 million. The 56,000 is leftover ARPA interest projects.
it's Fund 30, for those that are looking on the budget, and the budget is on the website, by the way, these proposed budgets. And what we had in there was,
It's not on there yet. It will be on
Oh, it's
there
not-
till you sign it.
oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected on that. And if you pick up the second edition budget, the proposed budget, and you look in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns over, you'll see a $10,056,057 number. And that number is a combined number of the ARPA savings or interest.
The ARPA interest projects.
Right. That's left over. That's the 56,000. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yes.
And the other 10 million is a contingency for us to have to be able to make the matching grant with FEMA, which is a 75-25 matching grant.
Correct.
And so that was an estimate that Ms. Shelton and I worked up when we were hearing that it was going to cost as much as $6.5 million just for the Cade Loop Bridge. And what we learned yesterday, primarily from the engineers, I think, as much as anybody, but FEMA wasn't one that really, they listened to it, but they weren't the ones that really
Well,
had
they
the
gave us
input
their
for it.
estimate,
Yeah.
yeah.
And their estimate,
Was
well, I had that,
1.2
no, it's,
He's,
plus 500 for a temporary.
I have an orange Post-it for it. It is $1,170,206.38 estimate. That's what FEMA came up with. And as of yesterday afternoon, as the Emergency Management Director, I sent an email to FEMA approving that estimate. So that action has been taken, and it is in the works.
Good.
That's what you wanted to know, right?
Yeah. Okay. But can you elaborate a little bit of what is that going to cover? Is that just the Cade
Well,
Loop?
additionally, there'll be about a $500,000 temporary bridge It'll be a separate project that will go in down.
Beside it.
Yeah, right. Go in to where there's good access, because the other bridge has got water
Let
over
me
it.
just give the public some background.
Sure.
How many people know where the Cade Loop Bridge is? Some people don't.
Right.
And the only way in and out of that side of the river, Cade Loop Bridge crosses from the Ingram side of the river over to some private dwellings on the other side of the river, as well as camps. Sierra Vista and Rio Vista are on that side of the river. And the place where we're talking about the temporary bridge is the Rio Vista crossing, which is a low water crossing that usually has 5 or 6 inches of water in it. Obviously, recently it's had much more water in it than that. But that is the only other crossing to be able to get in and out of that side of the river. And there was a displacement of one of the concrete sections on the Cade Loop Bridge that needs to be placed back in properly. And that can be done apparently without having to rebuild the bridge. That was the big issue. Did we have to rebuild the bridge? If we did, $6.5 million. If we didn't, then it's just these lower figures. The temporary bridge would be placed at Rio Vista so that they're gonna have to get the traffic out of that water. So, and I don't remember the exact construction. You attended that meeting, Tom. You know
Yeah,
a little bit better.
we have a separate work order for that, a separate job for that. And when it gets approved, they're looking at around $500,000 top end. They would put that in place before they began construction on Cade Loop. That way we had a good in and out at all times.
Well, but to clarify, they're gonna put the temporary bridge on Rio Vista,
Correct.
and they're going to reset the concrete
At Cade
slabs,
Loop.
or not slabs, panel.
Right, at Cade Loop.
Yeah.
So that should lower that number significantly, right?
Yes, we'll take out the 6.5 million for Cade Loop Bridge and put in its place the 1.17 million and 500,000.
Right. Yeah. So that'll drop you down over $4 million from that 10 million. What are you looking at?
It's closer to 5, but yeah.
Closer to 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's huge.
Which
Yeah.
should in turn allow us to possibly look at lowering that tax rate.
So we're still, even with that change, we are still under the 25% that's recommended for the 3 months.
Yep.
So in making that change, it takes us to 2441.
Personally, that doesn't bother me a bit. I think this is the time to go below 25%. Not a problem.
So it's certainly an option, Commissioner Paces. One thing that has to be thought about, though, 2 or 3 different things. Are you looking at the proposed budget or the version 2 budget?
Yes.
So if you'll notice for next year, we're looking at, as of this budget, taking $7 million of our fund balance in the general fund.
Yep.
That has an estimated fund balance coming forward of about 20 million, and that would take us down to 13 million. That's not sustainable
I agree, it's not
if you
sustainable.
start looking at that too much, and that's the concern. And so another outcome of that is currently whenever we go out for debt or refinancing any bonds, which is what we did this last year to take advantage of lower rates. And so one of the things that's asked by S&P whenever we talk to them for our bond rating is, are we following the best practice? And so our best practice is the 25%. It's a standard across any business. Businesses try to keep they try to keep closer to
6 months.
6 months, thank you, instead of just the 3 months. And so again, the 3 months gets us for the time that we don't have the taxes coming in. And keep in mind, this will affect also not only the interest rate that we pay, but as we use the money to fund current projects, your fund balance is going to decrease, so it's going to decrease the amount of interest that the county receives. So just the opposite side of some of the stuff that you're talking about, other considerations to keep in mind.
And also in the emergency management budgeting, they do emphasize this 25%, and counties do get below that, but try to get it where you can be able to bring it back up. And it is one of the fundamental criteria that, I say lenders, the financial community that issues the bonds. Understand that?
So you're saying this would take our fund balance back up to about 24?
Yes, at the end of the year.
24%.
Right, 24%.
Yeah. And that's before anything that you've heard today takes place.
And just FYI, every time we go out for financing, I have to, with the auditor and I have to sit down and have a conversation with the lenders, and one of the very first questions they ask us is, what percentage is your fund balance? So it's pretty critical. But even what we've got here is spending our fund balance down by $7 million, which we're grateful that we have it.
Yeah.
Because we have been able to maintain the fund balance. But one of the other things they teach us is the 3-year rule, that usually the consequence of your disaster are finally felt in that last year, when you have your revenues have been under where they were, and you're trying to get them back, and the expenses never go down, at least not appreciably. It's pretty constant. And so by the time the third year gets there, that's the crisis period, when they look at, are you going to be able to make it? And so what we're trying to do is prepare for that third year. So we're in a good position at this point because of what Road and Bridge, good news, bad news for Road and Bridge. The bad news is they got roads to fix, but the good news is they can't do those other projects for the capital outlays, which has freed up a big chunk of the budget.
Yep. And we always have we come up with our estimate of year-end reserves, and it's always a lot higher. We always underestimate or overestimate, depending on how you want to look at that.
In healthy years, that was true.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about.
Well, even last year, as I recall, we were forecasting, when we approved last year's budget, there was going to be a $17.8 million reserve at the end of that year. And now I'm looking at it, and it's closer to 26.7.
Our budget's increased.
Commissioner Paces, the reason for that is we don't know what the current year is, how we're going to turn out at the end of the year. And so as of now, yes, we know what we did last year, but we didn't know that going into the next year. So that's always
have
going.
a higher reserve balance than what was in the approved budget, because we underspend.
And our expenses are unplanned this year that we've had to make room for. And again, this is still what was in the budget for last year, spending 100% of that.
And I guess I'm a wordsmith and splitting hairs here, but it's not that we really underspend. It's that we overplan for I call them the silent contingencies. And I have no control over that. And I don't know how much my department heads and elected officials have overestimated their contingencies, because everybody has their own little private contingency plan, and we've been trying to deal with that, but it is what it is. And
But historically, it's been there,
yes, it has.
and it's there again this year. Whether it's there next year, I don't know. But it's additional information that has to be considered.
One of the ones that do, and Sheriff, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, but what I just heard the sheriff say is he's having trouble coming up with money and looking for money that's left over in his budget. He normally has money left over in his budget. So Sheriff, do you foresee that you're going to have as much money left over in your budget this year as you had in prior years?
No, I don't, definitely. I mean, my overtime's gone. I mean, that's a question, you know, how much overtime? I mean, normal years I'm fine, but this year, you know what, one event just wiped it out. Fuel, you know, normally I do have money in different places, but I've known it's gonna be slim this year for us, because we had 60-plus units running 24 hours a day for, 3 weeks. So mine, but of course, we're different, like I said, we work 24/7, but I don't see a lot of extra in mine.
No, that's fine, thank you. Anything else? Now, which agenda item are we on? So these are departments? Okay. Well, we've jumped back and forth between them.
We have that.
And,
Commissioner Jones wanted to talk about what happened yesterday at the meeting to consider how that would reduce the
Sure.
second edition budget from the K-Blue conversation. And so that's what brought you back to 1.2. But we were talking about 1.3.
Sure.
So that the court could make a better decision in 1.3 after hearing the K-Blue conversation.
it appears to me that there's at least an implied conversation about how do we deal with the reduced numbers regarding FEMA. I think that's what you're really talking about.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Because it impacts the budget.
But it's very helpful, having that understanding. Offsets the addition that the sheriff just put on us. And
So
then
how
some.
much will we reduce that?
Sorry, what?
How much do we reduce that number?
Well, Tanya just said it's
About
closer to
5,
5.
yeah.
Yeah, about
Roughly 5
cut it in
million.
half.
So when you're looking at all the increases that we've got the other 5 on that. We've got everything the sheriff's department needs, so you're looking at another probably $1 million toward that. So you've still got about a $6 million increase, which would be in line with
A
about.
$6 million increase.
Well, I'm saying from last year's budget to this, what you're proposing now, that was unexpected, that we're having to deal with. This is unexpected as far as I can tell, with what the sheriff's asking for, along with what we're gonna have with the FEMA, and ARPA funds. Is gonna come out to about an additional $6 million from your normal budget. Is that right?
I'm not,
I said, I'm sorry. I said, it looks to me like we're looking at about an additional $6 million from what we anticipated. $5 million from the FEMA money and about an additional close to $1 million with the sheriff's department additions.
That would go the opposite way.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking.
Why are you adding them?
Yeah,
One-
that's what I'm
One is
asking.
additional expense, and the other one is less anticipated liability than what we planned.
Right, but it's still,
But I don't think you add them together, I think you offset them against one.
Yeah,
That's right.
So there would be a $4 million reduction in the second edition budget.
That's right.
right,
The
but there's,
sheriff was 650,000
Yeah.
or something.
that's more
wasn't
than
it?
that by the time
Is
you
it
get
more?
done with, well, with what he had already added.
Okay,
that we
so
already
you're saying
approved.
the-
Well,
the
it's
expenses
from what's
will
in
be on
this.
that same
Yes.
number. I got you.
Thank you, thank you.
Revenues, yeah.
Yes, thank you. I didn't think I was completely losing my mind.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
have by
you are.
now. Yeah, I could have by now, but
Yeah.
So anything else on 1.2?
no.
Now we're back to wage adjustment.
Well, that sure got quiet.
No,
Well, we have another person that wants to address the court, Terry Lyle.
Good morning. My name is Terry Lyle. I'm currently employed in the district clerk's office. I've been employed with Kirk County 24 years. I've had a second job for 23 of those 24 years just to make ends meet. I've been listening to the live stream this morning, and there was a portion of it that some of the commissioners made visits to county employees to question whether they would prefer a raise over increased taxes. And the consensus was, well, I'd rather have no raise than for you to raise my property taxes. I'm a property taxpayer as well. I was not approached to see my opinion. My opinion is that a person may decide not to have property taxes raised because we can't afford to pay anymore. So of course they're going to tell you, well, don't give me a raise then. The salary that everyone is earning now is not enough. It has not been enough for years. Like I said, 23 out of 24 years, I have had a second job. Thankfully, I've had a second job. Others don't have that fortune. The new people coming into employment in Kerr County are making the same wages or barely wages over McDonald's. Another thing I do is collect money for the county. I've done it for 15 years now. What happens with that money that comes into the county? I bring in a lot of money to the county. Thousands of dollars every month in collections. And yet the employees are struggling every day. If there was any visits made by the commissioners, they did not come to our office. Why didn't you send out a survey? Send out a survey to all the employees so all the employees could have the same fair chance instead of basing your decision upon the few that you visited. You could have visited people with high income. You could have visited people with low income. I don't know.
You're implying I made a decision off of what other people said, and that is not correct.
No, what I'm saying is that I was not visited to voice my opinion. Others were visited so you could base
My
your
decision
decision.
will be made off of the numbers we have in front of us, not off of a visit.
Then understand that their voice to forego a raise, I bet, is solely based upon they cannot afford it.
Could be.
I know I can't. I could not afford to pay higher property taxes right now, and I don't want to get a third job. I'm thankful for two, but I don't want a third.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion about wage adjustment?
Just, I'll point out that even a 1% wage increase would more than offset any new taxes if we went with the no new revenue tax rate. And of course, if we go with the no new tax rate that Bob recently gave us, there wouldn't be an offset. They would have roughly a $500 increase based on an average salary of $50,000. I'm just throwing that up. Open to any other views on how much, if any, wage adjustment.
A decision has to be made today.
Yeah, I understand.
Let's take a 5-minute recess and come back.
Okay, I'm good with that. great.
Come back to order. To kind of break the logjam where we are, I'm going to go ahead and call item 1.4 because we've got some scenarios that I think would be helpful for this court to see. And that is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve proposed salary increases for the elected county and precinct officials for Kerr County fiscal year 25-26, and authorize the county clerk to publish same on August the 13th. And this one we have some handouts, right?
Yes.
That's what I want, one more handout.
I don't want to jump on this because there's not really.
I'm easily confused by that.
This is different?
Yes. One is a 2%, one is a 2.5%.
I asked Sylvia to prepare these so we can see a little bit more concretely what things look like. And since we have to do these, publish these in the paper a week and a half from now.
And so on those two sheets that I just handed out, one's a 2% increase and one's a 2.5% increase.
Repeat that louder.
One's a 2% increase and one's a 2.5% increase. That's what the difference is between the two sheets. For elected official salaries.
And Sylvia,
Yes, sir.
you've also got a 0 one, right?
I do.
Let's see it too.
Don't really need it, because you know what the current is.
Yeah. But I had it prepared.
Yeah, that's. Well, Sylvia, I'm glad that in the 1% and 2% cases, or 2.5%.
Commissioner, I didn't have enough time. Y'all gave me those numbers yesterday. We were able to do that summary sheet, but
No, I'm pleased to see that you did not include a salary increase for myself.
we
And-
figured,
And
well,
and you
the,
anticipated that I would decline it, so thank you.
okay, hold on. Okay, yes, because you declined it in the past.
That's
Sorry,
correct.
I see what you're saying now.
Last
Sorry.
2 years.
I was lost
And
for a
I'll do it
minute.
again this year.
Yeah.
That's accurate. Well, depending on which scenario we go with.
And this needs to get done today.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, my understanding is whatever we give in terms of a wage increase to the staff, elected officials get the same thing,
That's right.
unless they,
The Attorney General opinion
Object.
required it.
That's right.
Required that to happen.
yeah,
It didn't used to be that way.
right. So unless they, what do they call that?
Whatever type of
Object to
COLA
it.
or wage adjustment there
Yeah.
is, the Attorney General says they have to be offered to all the
So it kind of
employees.
throws us back to 1.3 anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
So, the judge has 2.5 already built in,
Right.
okay?
And I'm
Any
thinking-
other views?
I'm thinking we need to lower that just a bit,
What? Pick a number.
1.5. That's just my suggestion. And that covers any tax increase that they might see and then some. That's close to the inflation rate. May not be exactly.
Tom, your thoughts?
No, they don't want them. You know, I know we're gonna be raising our tax a little bit, and that's the part that's got me gut wrenched on it.
Yep.
I do wanna be fair to employees. And if we're gonna have that kind of an increase, I think they need to be able to be compensated for it.
What's your number?
I mean, I could go with 1.5, but I'm not particularly opposed to the 2%.
Well,
That's kind of where I was falling, at 2. So that's compromise between these two, you know.
Yeah.
wish we knew how Commissioner Holt would vote. Anyway,
He's not here, so
Yeah, I know.
that's
Look.
water under the bridge.
so I probably would have recommended the 1.5. I could live with 2 if that's what you guys want to do, Judge.
Well, I say
I
this.
know you had 2.5, so
I know.
is that still your position?
I don't think we could come anywhere close to giving our employees the pay raise that they deserve.
Oh, great.
I agree.
And it's a frustration every year.
Yep.
Don't pull me aside at the break and talking about it. For everything that we've done, and I understand the criticism for it. I've got a salary study sitting in on my console in there that will tell you that we are underpaid. All the county employees are pretty underpaid. You might find a position that was adequately compensated, I don't know. And the state does supplement some, which helps, but it's still grossly under market value. I think, one of the things that I think is important going into this budget here, and it is a last-minute budget, the more we can stay together as a court and do things unanimously, the better. And we only have 4 votes here today, but if we could do it unanimously, I think it is a statement to the public. We're trying our best. We're doing what we can without savaging each other.
I think we've
Which is
done that.
unproductive.
You know, I said yesterday that this whole budget process is a compromise. There's not a one of us got everything we wanted or didn't want.
Well, it's kind of like
That's-
Will Rogers.
And we're gonna come out of this together.
You know what Will Rogers saying about legislation? It's like making sausage. You don't want to see it. And here we are.
Right.
Actually, no matter what we do, there's going to be people that are unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well,
anyway, but that's what goes with the job. That's what we got elected to do. So if you guys want to propose the 2%,
let me take the
I'm
initiative.
all right with it.
I'm going to take the initiative and make a motion that we have a 2% wage adjustment.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Like we haven't already had a bunch.
Right.
But those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Okay. That's a big hurdle today.
That is a big hurdle.
It's the
We
first
really
thing
do
we've
appreciate
agreed
it.
on today,
So
so.
that's, that takes care of both these, 1.4 and 1.5, basically. Do we have to do anything formal on the 1.5?
We have to take action to authorize her to do it.
On 1.4 and 1.5, we need action.
Okay.
And 1.3.
Did you call 1.5 yet?
So you made a motion,
Oh,
or
we
is
just
that,
did.
I
Sorry,
guess that's
sorry, Jody, thank you.
1.3, so now we need a motion on 1.4.
I'll make a motion on 1.4 that we approve the proposed salary increases for elected officials and precinct officials for Kerr County fiscal year 25-26, and authorize the county clerk to publish same on August the 13th, 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Item 1.5, I make a motion to approve the base salaries for elected officials. These are base salaries for elected officials for 2025.
Second.
You got handouts coming here.
Is that different?
These are the base salaries.
Oh,
If we hire somebody new, this is,
I got you.
if somebody new gets elected, this is their base salary.
And this is the 2%?
Yes.
This is the 2%.
It's up at the top, right below the FY 25-26.
No, okay.
That's why I had to prepare all this for us.
Right.
So I've got a motion, and we got a second? Don, you seconded, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
We got a motion and a second. Need discussion. Okay. Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. And with that, we have the necessary information to be able to pull together a recommended budget, which will be the third edition that we should have out to you, maybe even by this afternoon, but certainly by tomorrow. Good.
Did you say you had a 1.6?
I'm sorry? No, 1.5.
Well, anyway.
Are we meeting Friday?
We don't need to
Unless there's other business.
Okay. Take a deep breath. We're adjourned.